Hi, good afternoon. This is Liz Davis. I am a nutritionist and I specialise in digestive health for busy women. So I help busy women fix their IBS, bloating, painful digestion, heartburn, etc. Any kind of associated hormone problems. So perimenopause, menopause, and associated troublesome symptoms, bad periods, etc., chronic fatigue. All these kind of conditions can be traced back, at least in part, to what is going on in your gut. So I tend to use state-of-the-art testing, gut testing, hormone testing, and dietary and lifestyle upgrades, supplements to bring things back into balance for you. So artificial sweeteners, should we be choosing those over proper sugar? Or, what are the healthier ones? What are the ones to avoid, etc. So I'll cover all this in this video. So basically, it sounds like the ideal solution, doesn't it? So you get all the benefits of sugar, you get the nice sweet taste, but then none of the drawbacks of sugar. Well, unfortunately, it is a bit too good to be true because they don't actually offer the health kind of improvements that you would expect from making this change. And not only that, but you can get some detrimental effects on your health as well. So what are the trouble with sweeteners then? Well, basically, when you eat a sweet food, doesn't matter what it is, your system prepares itself to receive this sweet food and deal with it appropriately. So even though what you're consuming isn't actually sugar, your body thinks it is. So it goes through the same process. So your pancreas will start to secrete a lot of insulin and it will be expecting this sugar. It will process what it thinks is sugar in the same way it would do as if you'd just eaten something very sweet. So of course this food never arrives. It doesn't arrive, so then your system ends up in a complete spin. It doesn't know what it's supposed to be doing. So that then leads us on to the next problem. Because your brain thinks it's getting this sweet food, you may then end up really craving sweet food because you haven't got the sweet food that your brain was expecting you to be eating. So it can really double down on your cravings a lot in that respect. Not only that, because the sweet food never arrives, unless of course you go and get some sweet food, you can end up with all those similar effects of being hangry or etc., or a bit anxious, which you would normally get when your blood sugar drops because your insulin is pumping away, and then it's just going to reduce the sugar that you do have in your system. So all this confusion, all this kind of fact that your system has gone awry is probably what triggers things like type 2 diabetes, obesity and metabolic syndrome, etc., which are associated with consuming these artificial sweeteners. So essentially you're getting more of the problem that you were trying to avoid in the first place, which isn't fantastic. So also, if you are someone who is suffering with IBS or IBD, these tend to be inflammatory conditions, certainly IBD is, then artificial sweeteners can actually cause inflammation themselves. So you really need to be avoiding that if you're someone who does suffer with your gut health. So in addition to that, it's also going to start building up plaque in your arteries and then increasing your risk of cardiovascular disease and so on. So it all looks a bit bleak, really. But so the particular ones you want to be looking out for and avoiding are things like aspartame, NutraSweet, saccharin, Splenda, sucralose, etc. Definitely avoid those and get really savvy with checking labels as well. So you want to be watching out for anything particularly which is labeled low sugar, no sugar, healthier options, anything like that, but that is highly processed. So yogurts, fizzy drinks, etc., 0 calorie water, all that kind of thing are all normally packed full of these artificial sweeteners, which you really want to be avoiding. So that's in addition to the fact that a lot of people also are very sensitive to these sweeteners and start to get headaches and migraines and so on and so forth. So that in itself is a good reason to be avoiding them. But all is not lost, because there are a couple of options that I wouldn't discount altogether. And those are stevia, certainly, and xylitol. So xylitol was the flavour of the month a while ago. Not so much now. I think it's falling out of favour a little bit, but certainly stevia is, as far as I know, still a pretty good option. So I would use those kind of sweeteners as a stepping stone though. So the ultimate goal is to get your system used to consuming, naturally sweet foods. So stuff like dates are great, or fruits, just to get that sweet hit if you're still craving it. But absolutely use xylitol, stevia to bridge the gap if you want to. I would avoid xylitol if you have a very sensitive gut though. It's very high in FODMAP, so it can trigger symptoms. But stevia, I think, is a pretty safe bet. But always just have the goal in mind of trying to get yourself used to these naturally sweet foods, which will be much better for you in the long run. Okay, so I hope you found that useful. Do use the link below if you want to book a call with me. It's free for the first half an hour. And I'll also include some recipes down there as well, some gut healing recipes. Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye.